All right, in this section 2, we're going to be covering questions 3, 4, and 5. 3, 4, and 5. The first thing that we're going to be learning how to do in this section is how to find a 5-number summary. 5-number summary includes 5 specific points. It includes your minimum value. It includes your maximum value. It includes your median, which, remember, in order from least to greatest, it's the very middle number. First quartile and your third quartile. Those two are new introduction words, okay? You should have seen this math tip on a previous slide. And it says the first quartile, or Q1, is the median of the data values on the left of the overall median. And we're going to talk about how to do this in just a second, okay? And then the third quartile is the median of the right half of your data, okay? So I'm just going to go in general, okay? We're going to do just an example real quick, okay? I'm going to do the numbers. Let's go with 4, 6, 7, 9, 10, 12, and let's go 15, okay? These are my data numbers. This is just an example. Don't freak out. This didn't come from anywhere in particular, okay? So the first thing I'm going to do is I want to find my minimum value. Well, my minimum value is the smallest number in my data set. That's going to be 4. Next, I want to find my maximum. My maximum is going to be the highest number in the data set, 15. Then I want to find my median. These are all terms we've talked about thus far. The median is the middle number in the data. Well, we're going to say basically this one, cancel out. This is my median right here, number 9. That splits my data into 2 halves, okay? I've got the lower half, which is my lower data, and the upper half, which is my higher data, right? Now, I got 3 numbers on the lower side, 4, 6, and 7. My Q1 is the middle of these 3 numbers. So the number in the middle is 6. We're going to find our Q3. Q3 is the middle of the upper half of data. Well, I got 10, 12, 15. The middle number is 12. So my 5-point summary here is 4, 6, 9, 12, 15. Okay? Now we're going to talk about how to create a box plot. Just as we did with the the dot plot, we're going to graph that number line. So I got this number line. I'm going to go from 4 to 15. Well, I'm actually going to go 4 to 16 because I'm going to count every other. So this would be 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, and 16. Okay? I'm going to put a dot at each one of my 5-point summary. Okay? A dot at each point. So I'm going to have a dot at 4, a dot at 6, a dot at 9, a dot at 12, and a dot at 15. We're going to draw a box, okay? A box is going to go around the 3 middle points. So I'm going to draw a line through my Q1. I'm going to draw a line through my Q3, and I'm going to connect it, making it a box. Hence the word box plot, okay? Then We also draw a line through my median. Now pay attention. I'm not going to draw a box here. To connect my min and my maximum values, we're going to draw lines going horizontal, not vertical this time, out to the edges. These used to be called in the day, back whenever I was in school, which I know was a long time ago, these used to be called the box and whisker plot. They have since moved to just the box plot, but the whiskers used to refer to the two outside stems coming out of the box. So, again, we're going to chunk this next lesson, or this next section. This next section is going to cover questions 3, 4, and 5. Now, what this means, okay, 25% of my data is between the values of 4 and 6. 25% of my data is between the values of 6 and 9. 25% of my data is between the numbers 9 and 12. And 25% of my data is between the value of 12 and 15, making up the 100% of my data. I know, a very hard concept, but it'll get easier. They've actually already completed the before coyote movement for you and drawn the dot block. The box plot. My apologies. So they've already done that one. They then ask you to go back and do the during and the after. The only way you can do this is if you put your numbers in order from least to greatest. So I would recommend doing that first. And I want you to answer 3, 4, and question number 5, which happens to be on the next page, and it's asking you to compare your data, okay? So 3, 4, and 5, I think that this is going to take you a little time because you're going to have to order those data points. So I'm going to go with 10 minutes, and I'll check back with you and see where we're at. 10 minutes, stop your recording, go ahead and work through 3, 4, and 5. The answers to questions 3 through 5 have now been put down for you. I want to show you what I did because you'll see here in question 3, I have the numbers 1, 3, 6, 9, 11, and I did it again in the after category. What I did was I went through, I realized that there are 11 coyotes that we're talking about. So I went through and I numbered them least to greatest rather than having to write them out. And I already know that this is my min and 11 would be my max. Well, halfway between 1 and 11 is 6. So that would be my median. So I then looked at the first 5 numbers because that's the first half of my data, 1 through 5. And the middle number of 1 through 5 is 3. So this would be my Q1. And if I look at 7 through 11, the middle number of that is number 9. So that would be my Q3. Rather than having to write all the numbers out and cross through and do like little tick marks so I can cross out and make sure I get the middle number exactly, that's how I did it. So when you see me put the 1, 3, 6, 9, 11, that's just what number was in that position. Okay. So I have my minimum Q1, median, Q3, and max for both my during and my after category. After that, I then boxed it, did my box, and then did my lines out to the edges to my max and min. As you can see, my box and whisker for the during category was like extended. Because remember, we had those points back in question number 1 where I told you those were like really far away from the rest of our data. It's reflected over here as well. Look at this line way out here to this number, way off in the distance, okay? Now, remember earlier I told you that each one of these makes up a 25% of my data? And the more data points you have, the bigger your 25% is going to be. So let's take a look at the way I answered question 5. Question 5 asks, which data set seems to have the least overall spread? So they're talking about the smallest from beginning all the way to the end. So max all the way to, min all the way to max. Well, these two look about the same length overall, okay? So I said that before and after have similar low spreads. While the Deering, you can clearly see that that's the greatest spread from min to max, okay? Then here in question B, it says, which data set seems to have the least spread in the middle 50% box? So they're talking about the box from the Q1 to the Q3. So which one had the smallest box? Which one had the largest box? Well, as you can see, the smallest box is this box right here, okay? The largest box is the Deering category. And you could even validate that with taking your Q1 and your Q3 and subtracting them. So 9-1 minus 3-2. And then I would have done 8-0 minus 3-7. This is a little bit closer than this one. And this one is super small compared to these two. So that kind of double checks what we're saying here. That our middle 50% was the smallest in the before category and the largest in the Deering category. On to your debriefing question.